Well, hello there folks, and how is it going? And welcome back to another video. We are in the office, but only briefly, so don't click away just yet. I am packing because we are heading on a road trip. That's right, I have time off work. So lots of stuff planned, lots of fun stuff organised, and some absolutely epic locations scouted and planned to shoot at. So the aim of the game for right now is to panic pack as we usually do, and then we're going to hit the road. It's my birthday tomorrow. We're going to spend the weekend in Lisbon, so I'm going to show you guys around Lisbon. Going to take some kind of cityscape, maybe some architectural photography, and I'm going to enjoy the city living and eat some nice food, and then we're going to hit the coast, hit some countryside, hit the coast, and then home. So lots to do, lots to look forward to, and but for now I need to get packing, so let's get to packing. Oh my god, well, we are finally packed and ready to rock and roll. It was about 2 hours between what you just seen and what you're looking at now. It takes a while to pack. Obviously the van is in work mode, so now it is in explore mode, so it takes a little while, but we are ready to hit the road, so let's get hitting that road. Well folks, we are in Lisbon, and it was quite the journey to get here, but we are here nonetheless. We are after the sun has set, unfortunately. We were delayed getting here, but we are here at the Belem Tower, and there's a nice bit of colour in the sky, so let's see if we can get a photo out of it. Well folks, here we are, hunkered down under the Belem Tower. It's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful place. I've been here a few times, captured maybe one picture that I was never really happy with, so thrilled to be able to come back. And you know, I think the last time I was here, they never turned the lights on, so this image is turned into more of a kind of a blue hour kind of shot, more so than a sunset. I think I caught the last bit of the light a few moments ago and then changed composition down lower now, messing around maybe about 3-4 seconds to try and capture some of this. There's some water in front here, so I'm trying to slow that down and just make it a bit smoother looking, you know. So I might have a bit of a wander around. Super thrilled that the lights are on though, so taking different exposures, probably going to blend all of these lads together, and yeah, really beautiful. Super happy. What a wonderful start. I ultimately came here to try and photograph the supermoon coming up over the Jesus statue thing that's here, but there's such a big bank of cloud on the horizon that I don't know if it's going to work. So if this is my only consolation for this evening, I am more than happy with it because it is gorgeous looking. Oh my god, it's actually beautiful looking. And so let's continue on. I'll have a bit of a wander around and let's see what else we can see.
Welcome friends to the ASMR photography studio. Here we find ourselves hunkered down close to the water's edge, admiring this wonderful building on the outskirts of Lisbon. The Belem Tower has a long and illustrious history behind it and certainly makes for a wonderful photographic subject. As I mentioned, we had missed the sunset, so this image ultimately became a very classic blue hour kind of frame, which in my opinion actually kind of worked out a little better because that balance of artificial light and natural light really adds a wonderful contrast and brings this whole frame together. And using the bridge as a leading line from the right side of the frame straight to the tower really helps to emphasize the scale of this building, albeit not a terribly large one. Still, I am very happy with all the elements and how they came together, and it's certainly better than the one I had previously taken before.
You know, it's times like this I wish I had a wide angle tilt shift lens, because the only really good angle at the moment is super low, looking up at the tower, which is never really good for any kind of like architectural images, because you need straight lines. Well, at least for me, you need straight lines anyways. But nonetheless, the blue hour is progressing nicely. But yeah, like I say, super duper happy. It's actually quite... It's a nice frame. Like, yeah, I wouldn't go bananas over it. The water's a bit low, but sure, look, you can't be super picky all the time. But it's still a beautiful, beautiful place. Just delighted that the lights are on and I'm able to take any kind of decent blue hour image of it. So I might head up a bit higher and see if I can get it. Just like it's a very touristy area, this spot. So I'll head up a bit higher and see if I can get that kind of classic Belem Tower shot. So coming up higher has actually proven itself a bit more beneficial, because it's a nice kind of central frame, and I'm just taking the base exposure is around 15 seconds, and I'm just taking a bit of a darker exposure just to control the highlights on the building a bit. And yeah, I like it. You know, it's simple. It's a bit touristy, but you know, I'm on holidays, so I'm a tourist. I'm allowed to do this. But like I say, it's certainly better than the last picture I took, which if I can find it, I'll put it up on the screen for you. But for now, I think we're going to call it a day. Got a nice sunrise location picked, and gonna pretty much sleep there. And so let's bed down for the evening and get up nice and early and try and capture the sunrise, because I don't think the moon is going to happen. If the moon looks like it's going to happen, then you will see that now in just a moment. Okay.
While I feel this is a slightly stronger composition, unfortunately it was taken just a bit too late, and this is a very good example of how photographing just after that blue light in the sky fades. The artificial light unfortunately dominates the scene, and that balance of natural and artificial light is ever so slightly weighing into the artificial light spectrum. And while I tried my best to balance the exposures and bring it all together, it's just that bit too late. But again, a very good example of choosing your compositions and sticking with them, because you don't want to miss out on those integral moments that make up these frames. And like I mentioned again, this particular vantage point is a very touristy vantage point, but I'm allowed because I was being a tourist.
Well, folks, the moon is out. Oh my God, I was looking in the wrong direction. Oh, the lens cap. Well, folks, take the lens cap off before you think you're vlogging. The moon is out, and thankfully I was looking in the wrong direction entirely. So it's impressive. It's a big ball, and I've got it overlooking this bridge, which I don't remember the name of. San Francisco Bridge. No. Thanks, Orla.
That's not it.
Is that not it? No, Christ, it's not the San Francisco Bridge.
It's a nickname for it.
But the thing that you really need to be super mindful is that the moon rises way quicker than you would ever anticipate, and it's coming up super duper fast. So I'm hoping these images are doing it justice. As I say, it's a bit haphazard in how I'm doing it, and Orla here is blocking the wind, as you can see here. So fair play to her. She's our human windshield. So let's shoot away and let's see if the images turn out any good, and if they do, sure, I'll pop one up on the screen for you now.
As I mentioned, one of the main objectives for visiting Lisbon was to photograph the moon, and while it was looking unlikely that it was going to happen, it was such a treat to see this colossal rock rise from the horizon. With my calculations being off for the image that I really wanted, some quick thinking was involved. And while I'm not overly happy with these compositions, I still feel like I did a good enough job to capture that scale that you're ultimately looking for when it comes to photographing these supermoon rises. This image is my favorite as it shows that scale, as it uses a long section of the bridge and a lovely background emphasize that wonderful moon as it comes up.
Well, that was a very pleasant surprise indeed. I really hope that picture turned out and it's on the screen and I actually showed you something. Like I say, my intention was to originally try and get it above. There's like a Jesus statue, and I thought that would have looked kind of cool. But unfortunately, I think the one that happened at the beginning of the month may have worked a bit better. It's just the angle is just wrong here, unfortunately. But nonetheless, we're here having fun, taking photographs, and yeah, well, that was an impressively large supermoon. It's very rare that or that we get to see them, so it's always a treat to enjoy watching them. I think I heard somebody say that yesterday's blue moon was the last for like 14 or 15 years or something. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but nonetheless, it is a wonderful, wonderful view. And yes, but I think we're pretty much going to call it quits for tonight and go find somewhere. Like I say, we have a spot marked for ourselves to have a nap and get up nice and early for a sunrise, and hopefully we get some good light. So I will see you there.
This particular image is taken just a few moments after the one we were just looking at. The moon has risen a little higher, so it's in full view. And one of the nice things about using the mirrorless cameras is to activate the crop factor mode, essentially turning your 400 mils into, 570 mils, just to add that extra bit of compression, really emphasizing the size of the moon as it rises up. One thing that I'm really happy about this image is the detail in the moon, and I actually used Lightroom's denoise feature, that new one, and it's done an absolutely wonderful job of cleaning up the noise. So I really like this picture. I just wish the composition was a little stronger. As I mentioned, things tend to be a little haphazard and rushed because you have to remember the moon rises and rises quick. But nonetheless, I am super happy that I crouched down in front of the van and super happy that the cloud bank cleared and I was able to capture both of these images. Unfortunately, we need to wait till next year now before the next supermoons, but I'll get planning those well in advance so not to make the same mistakes as this time.
Well, good morning, folks. It is nice and quiet. Who'd have thunk Lisbon slept, but it does. So I am here at the Vasco Da Gama Bridge, and it's cool because you have these pictures and then you earmark them for such a long time, and you've meticulously spent ages researching locations and places, and then you finally arrive at these places hoping that conditions will be good, and I think we might be okay this morning. It's really wow. The bridge is absolutely colossal and super impressive, so I am just on my way now to try and find the particular location or composition that I suppose scouted on Google and all these other lovely things. So I hope you can see it here behind me. It's absolutely wonderful. Really, really gorgeous bridge. It's huge. So let's amble down and let's see what we can see. Wow, the conditions here are absolutely fantastic, and I got here just in the nick of time. I was really hoping that the lights would be on for the photograph, and as you can see, they're off, and they literally just turned off, and I just managed to capture 1 or 2 frames, about 6 seconds. Beautiful long exposure. Oh man, I am so happy with this. The light is so gorgeous. That's just wonderful. Good start to my birthday. Best birthday present to myself ever. Like I said earlier, you know, these kind of images you plan and you look at and you try and find and all this kind of stuff. I have a huge I have a background essentially in architectural photography, as my bread and butter was, at least at home in Ireland, and I love this kind of stuff. I love architecture, all straight lines, shapes, love it, and so that's what today is going to be focused on. But oh wow, that is just gorgeous. The sunrise is so beautiful. I'm going to linger a little bit longer to see if some colour catches on the clouds, which it looks like it's going to do. So we'll see, maybe then we might be able to blend all these images together with the images of the bridge with the light, and then some nice light in the sky. There's actually 1 or 2 stars left up there, and it's just so quiet. This is a beautiful like promenade boardwalk that I'm on. You can go all the way into the center of Lisbon from where we stayed, and it's one thing that's so wonderful about having a camper van, is having the opportunity to be able to just sleep sleep here and wake up and do your job, do your work, do what you love. You know, it's one thing that's so beautiful about having a van. But I am going to stop rambling and take some more photographs, because this sky looks like it's about to go on fire. So let's get shooting. Just to add to my little ramble there, in relation to shooting scenes into a sunrise and things like that, it's always good to just take many different exposures at different shutter speeds, or, you know, even if you're uncomfortable blending images together, or exposure bracketing or exposure blending, at some point you'll probably learn those skills, and it's always nice to be able to think, oh yeah, I did that ages ago when I was there, so let's go back and use that one as a test or as an example. And so it's always good just to keep these things in the back. It's one of the nice things about having such amount of space on memory cards, to be able to keep the frames. And so there you go, just a little tip: shoot lots and lots when you're happy with your composition, lots and lots of exposures, and then you can always do all that again at some point down the road if you don't already know how to do exposure bracketing or exposure blending and all that fun stuff. Okay, let's keep going.
So here is the result of all of the blending images together and all of the many different frames that I took. All told, I think I blended only around 2.5 pictures to create this one image, taken probably only really about 3 or 4 minutes apart. I was so thrilled to see this image come together in Lightroom and in Photoshop. It's the kind of image that I really enjoy looking at when it comes to architectural and man-made structures. Using blending techniques to meld time together to create this one singular frame excites me to no end, and I am thrilled with how it all worked out. We have essentially taken the best elements of the blue hour and combined them with the best elements of the sunrise catching in the sky, ultimately to create a blended image that still looks very natural. So I really like this image, and far exceeded my expectations when walking up to this scene. I was so thrilled with how everything worked out. And I know I've said I've been thrilled lots just now, but I was very thrilled with how it all worked out.
Wow, this is absolutely such a fantastic morning. I have come down to the water's edge. I managed to find a little trail, and it's just given me a whole different perspective, a bit more of a balanced conversation. Not sure if I prefer it to the first one. I don't know. I think I still may prefer the first one, but this is still nonetheless absolutely gorgeous. The sun is
pretty much going to be coming up in the next moment, and I've actually just put on my 10 stop and my soft grad just to try and balance the sky with the foreground here, because the dynamic range is just getting pretty hectic, and so I have it set there, so let's see how that one turns out. But it is absolutely wonderful here. I am so thrilled that I moved from the spot after I had kind of captured the one that I wanted, and you know, then you kind of begin to explore and have fun. And look where we are. We are in Lisbon. This is absolutely wonderful. So lots of adventures to come, and let's see how this image turned out before I get off on too much of a ramble on you.
Having the opportunity to use the 10-stop neutral density filter is always one that I approach very cautiously, as the calculation of the shutter speed tends to always elude me. I know you can Google it, and I know there's apps that will tell you, but I always forget to do that when I'm actually standing there. So I set a timer on my little watch to count down the seconds, and I was delighted when I seen these images come up on the back of the camera. And while the previous image I feel is a stronger image, for me anyway, there's just something about this super long exposure that just adds this ethereal, contrasty feel to the scene. It makes capturing images like this very unique. And like I've said in previous videos, photographing the water always creates once in a lifetime images, as the waves and the way the water works is always different in each time you press the shutter. And the same can be said for these super long exposures. So I really like this. But overall, there's been 2 images at 3 different locations, and I would love to hear your thoughts on which of the images you prefer from each of the locations. So do please leave a comment below.
Oh my god, I love that. That was about 2.5 minutes. I'm gonna do another one real quick, just a bit shorter, just to keep some detail in the sky. I want to absolutely make sure that there's no kind of blown out sky, but wow, got some beautiful movement in the clouds. It's just gorgeous. But this is not the reason for my crazy ramble. I found some jellyfish. Anybody out there know anything about jellyfish? What are they? Crazy looking yolks. Anyway, jellyfish. I'm assuming the tide comes up a fair bit if the jellyfish are all the way back here. But what an absolutely beautiful morning. I think I'm going to leave it there for this particular video. I'm hoping to try and make a few videos out of this little road trip that we find ourselves on. This has been an absolutely wonderful start, from the kind of panic that we found ourselves in yesterday, packing and organizing the van and everything like that, to getting here just after sunset and photographing the Belem Tower. I really hope those pictures turn out well, and then maybe 1 or 2 pictures of the moon last night. But this has just been absolutely the highlight of the day so far. It's just so wonderful. I'm so glad that I came here to photograph this. It's so wonderful when you can visualize an image that comes together nicely for you. So nonetheless, I am going to stop rambling, and you know the score. If you like, then absolutely give a like, and if you fancy following along for more adventures, then please do hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. So take it easy, everybody. Have a good one.